Hey guys, my name is Mr. Lawlight and you are watching Sea Galaxy, and this is my first video in a very long time, and I apologize for that. I mainly started the YouTube channel at a very bad time, mainly because I was going to college. I didn't realize how much work that would be, etc, but now that I'm off, I really want to kick it off and I really want to do a lot more videos. I have a new top 5 coming out this week. And also, I'm working on something quite different. I mean, that's what I'm really looking forward to. Something that's really unique, and I haven't really seen it much in YouTube, so I'm looking forward to showing you guys that when it is done. But today I thought I'd maybe do a little bit more of a simpler video. And that is mainly talking about what I think Call of Duty World War II needs to do to succeed. Now guys, this video is all my opinions. It's not fact whatsoever. But if you have anything to suggest, feel free to put it down in the comments. But be civil. And if you don't like Call of Duty, that's fine. I understand completely. But this is mainly coming from a perspective where I enjoy the series as a whole, but the last entries since about Ghosts have really not pleased me. They haven't been great at all, in my opinion. So I sort of wanted to start a video where I could talk about what Call of Duty World War II needs to really kick off the franchise again. Now guys, the first thing I think Call of Duty World War II really needs to succeed is better character development. Now this may seem as a weird one to start with, but if I talk to you about a campaign like Call of Duty 4, one of the biggest things you probably remember from that campaign is the great array of characters it had. But if I talk to you about a game like Infinite Warfare, you're probably not going to remember them. I can't remember the names for the life of me of the characters in that game, but that's just that. And I think if we want to have a really good campaign, a really memorable campaign, yes, having these big World War II set pieces will probably be important, but what I think will be more important is creating an array of characters that we can relate to, that we can sort of feel the emotions of, that we can really engage with. And that I think will sort of make the campaign a bit more memorable. Because if I talk to you about a game like Call of Duty Ghosts, you probably don't really remember or really care about the characters in that game. You don't care about their struggles, what they're going through. It's just another military shooter campaign that lasts 4 hours. There's nothing really special to it. And that's kind of where I think World War II, if it has these great characters, I think it can really succeed in that regard. I think these sort of, don't get me wrong, I think having big set pieces, like big actiony, I think that, yeah, okay, that is important to a memorable campaign. But I think what will really make people remember the campaign is having great characters. If I talk about Call of Duty 4 again, of course, we have like Captain Price, Soap McTavish, and all these characters people still talk about today because they really relate it and they really engage with those characters. Having that in World War II, I think, will really make it a bit more of a richer game. People will remember it more. It won't be just this year's Call of Duty. It will be something more to people. Now, the second thing I really want to talk about is microtransactions. And for me, for Call of Duty World War II really to do well is to have as minimal or to have a low level of microtransactions as possible. Now, I was playing Infinite Warfare the other day and I was just kind of disgraced at this whole pay-to-win system of weapon variants. Basically, if you spend enough money, you'll probably get a gun that gives you more XP per kill, which is a bit ridiculous. And people say, oh, well, you can earn them in the game, but you're going to have to grind your absolute ass off. And it's ridiculous. So I think for World War II really to do well, it needs to lay off the microtransactions. They need to be either gone completely, which would be great, but that's probably not going to happen, or at least cosmetic, and to a point where it doesn't ruin the authenticity of the game. Like, I don't want to see someone running around with a pink Thompson, or having sort of stupid call cards. This game looks a lot more serious in tone, and I sort of want to keep that throughout the whole game, to sort of make it more immersive in a way. It's going to ruin the immersion when you see someone coming like with a multicolored uniform and a big, heavy machine gun that's bright purple or whatever. So to sort of attract more people and to sort of give the brand a better name in general is to just lay off the microtransactions. But This is one I probably have the least hope for because I can see the game being chock full of them, but hopefully Activision lays off them a lot more than what they have in previous games, because I think that'll really benefit the community, and I think it'll really benefit the game. People won't see it as much as a cash grab and whatnot, and hopefully microtransactions are kept to a minimum, but at the same time, as I'll say, you know, I'm not exactly sure that that's going to happen. Now, the next thing Call of Duty World War II really needs to succeed is a frantic multiplayer experience that's boots on the ground. Now, we all know Call of Duty World War II is going to be boots on the ground, which is great, so there's going to be no jetpacks, no wall running, none of that stuff. It's going to be boots on the ground, but it still needs to be fast paced. Even games like Call of Duty 2 and World at War still kept, although they were World War II games, they still kept a very, very fast pace. And that's why I think a lot of people liked Call of Duty, because it was nearly, I wouldn't compare it to this game completely, but it definitely was Quake-like. It was, you know, very jumpy, very over the top, but, you know, it still remained very tactical and fun. But I think if the series goes in a slower direction, you know, where there's this big, you know, 48-player multiplayer thing going on, or I believe that's the player count of it. It's a large-scale multiplayer. I really hope it doesn't slow down. I really hope it's frantic, because I think a lot of people are going to get back into it if they really go to the series core. If it's like World at War, or if it's like Call of Duty 4, then I think a lot of people will take a lot more interest in it, and the game will be fun. I can guarantee that if it goes with the series core, the game will be fun. But if they go with a slower pace, it'll probably end up like Ghost, and we all know how much we love that game. Now, this point sort of relates to the last one, but Call of Duty World War II really needs to have an old school map design philosophy going for it. I think having like new style Call of Duty maps just isn't going to cut it, because if you look at a game like Advanced Warfare, Ghosts, or even Infinite Warfare, none of the maps are really memorable. Some of them may be good, you know, like I'm not denying that fact, but none of them are memorable like Rust, or Nuketown, or Shipment, or Overgrown. Maps like that, maps that really sort of stand the test of time even today. And I think World War II really needs to go with this sort of old school design philosophy that would be more present in games like Call of Duty 2, rather than going for like a map design philosophy that would be more applied to Ghosts. Mainly because it sort of relates to the last point with creating this sort of frantic gameplay. So I want to see a lot of tight corridors, areas sort of that are very closed off, a lot of cover. I really don't want to see loads of wide open maps that are just going to be filled with snipers and campers. You know, I wanted this like tight gameplay. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't have big problems with like a couple of like open-ended maps. With this new like 48-player multiplayer coming, I'm sure we're going to need a couple. But I really sort of want them to sort of keep this tight, crazy, you know, closed off map philosophy that was more prevalent in Call of Duty 2 and 4. Rather than go for sort of wide open spaces, stuff like that, because I think it'll make the gameplay a lot more enjoyable. And honestly, it'll just make it more exhilarating to play. The game will be more intense, it'll be more fun, and honestly, it'll keep players more and more engaged. Last but not least, Call of Duty World War II does not need to be Battlefield. Now, Battlefield 1's done really successful, and I'm sure it was an inspiration for the team creating the game, and that game is brilliant, you know, and it got a lot of people back into that franchise, but it cannot be Battlefield. Look what happened to Call of Duty Ghosts. It tried to imitate Battlefield with a Call of Duty sort of core to it, and it was awful. For World War II to be really successful, they need to go back to the days of Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 4, and go back to this mad, frantic multiplayer that was a lot of fun. You know, try not to copy, you know, and that's kind of why I was scared of this whole 48-player multiplayer thing, because I thought they were trying to copy Battlefield with that, and hopefully they are. Hopefully it's going to be a really fun mode, and hopefully they're going to stick to the Call of Duty core rather than trying to grab every other first-person shooter that's popular right now and sort of mix it in, because it's just not going to end up well, and it's just going to alienate fans even more. And it's going to push away new potential players if we really go sort of this mutant of FPS, you know, zeitgeist almost. So, like, basically, I think my last point is simple. Just don't copy Battlefield especially. Go back to the core, go back to your roots, do a Doom, be really fun, and just go absolutely frantic with it and have a good time. Now guys, thanks for watching, and I just wanted to say again, this video is all my opinion, none of it's fact, and I just sort of wanted to give my little pointers of what I think will make the game really good. But as I'll say again, just post down in the comments if you have any suggestions, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. And until next time guys, goodbye.